Ladies and gentlemen, things are about to get very messy.
Yes, hallelujah, it's the video show. And now, the man the BBC calls...
Jason King on Kung Fu Hot Dog.
Never surrender!
So this is an article from the Hollywood Reporter regarding Robert Downey Jr. declaring influencers star of the future is absolute horseshit. Let's just say it for what it is. And speaking of horseshit, this is the now non-Ironed Man version of RDJ. I'll get back to that later on. The Oscar winner recently sat down with an old pal of his on the Conversations for Our Daughters podcast. So already, sons mean nothing. It's all about the ladies of the future. Oh my God. But look, let's have a look at the actual segments here of the interview. If you want to know where the timestamp is, it's roughly around where you see there 30 minutes and 58 seconds. I mean, you might as well just call it 31 seconds, right? Well, 31 minutes, I should say. So let's just get on with this and hear what Mr. Iron Deficient Man has to say about influencers, because boy, oh boy, when I saw this, I was like, oh man, Robert Downey Jr., one of my favorite actors ever. And this is the drama he's now creating. I understand why he's doing it, by the way. I'm not actually totally dunking on RDJ, but honestly, I think he and his friend are just out of touch.
I don't look at that as a negative thing. I just look at it as more like the challenge.
Look, can we just pause here for a second? How emaciated this guy looks. He's a vegan, isn't he? And I'm like, you know what? Each to their own, what they want to eat, put inside of their bodies. I'm going to come back to that point at the end regarding my situation.
Challenge for individuation is being upped, because hopefully the grosser part of our of the youth of, let's just call it America for locality's sake, you know, is going to say, yeah, but that's not my thing. I want to go do something. I want to make something. I want to build something. I want to educate myself, and I want to have more inputs. So whatever my output isn't just a self-aggrandizing kind of influencer type thing. When I hear people talk about, oh, the stars of the future are going to be influencers, I go, I don't know what world you're living into, but I think that is absolute horseshit.
Yeah, I wanted you to talk about influencers because I don't get it to a certain level. Now, I understand an influencer.
I hope that's not alcohol, Mr. Downey Jr.
Say, and they're interesting and they have a point of view and all of that, but many don't. And they're, again, it's back to the old famous because they're famous. But
listen, I just want to say right here, when you talk about influencers, Daniel RPK and Matt Ramos, I'm sure those two are bumming each other behind the scenes. They are two of the worst influencers on social media right now. Do I want them out of a job? No, I think their bad takes are absolutely terrible beyond belief. But again, when you talk about influencers, you know, when I think about influencers, you're thinking about television film reviewers like the great Barry Norman on film, whatever the year was, because you could say his opinion of a movie, good or bad, or maybe in the middle, would influence the audience as to whether they would go and watch the film at the cinema. But I guess the term influencer now, because of social media, has gained incredible notoriety over the last few years, maybe even from the very beginning of social media, is to blame for what's happening right now in entertainment, why Hollywood hates us and we hate Hollywood back in turn.
1 million followers, etc. Well, that's a lot of people. Now, what does it mean to be a follower? And, you know, it's not like you're paying $100.
It doesn't mean anything.
And so it's not hard to be a follower. And so I think the interesting question is, when is an influencer about novelty?
I swear these two guys have got the same matching sneakers, just different designs.
And then the question is, what contribution are they going to make to the lives of those million people going forward? And they're very different questions. And the ability to do those things are quite different.
Sure. Well, when you're the first of a generation's version of this.
RDJ, why are your wrists so limp, my man? Come on, I thought you were a very heterosexual male. Again, I'm not dunking on the guy. I'm just like, oh my God. This
is ours, you know? Like, my kids know that we didn't have influencers per se. We had Ronald Reagan, who was in politics and on TV.
He's an influencer. He influenced political opinion.
And, you know, was an actor of some note. But then you have, like, the first I was listening to someone who had started a podcast when it was still on MySpace, like back in the turn. And there's something about this 2006, 7, 8, 9. There's something about that era that, because we were just in it, and you know how it always feels like
nothing's wrong with MySpace. Jon Favreau, the man who directed Iron Man in 2008, was on MySpace.
It's actually, we're getting a little longer in the tooth. That was a while ago. This whole phenomenon, that the advent of that, sometimes it's who is luck, maybe first in the door to do it. Joe Rogan was doing it before it was cool, and he's kind of got his whole own space.
Yeah, Joe Rogan's wife is Jewish, by the way. Go figure that one out.
My now 13-year-old son, Exton, he kind of got caught up in this whole influencer thing, and next thing you know, it's like, hey, if you like the way I'm playing this video game, do you want to send me a donation? And really, it becomes a religion.
Yep.
So come on, influencers today are almost
so what's
like
Hollywood then?
Evangelical hucksters of the information age. At the same token, it's different because we're playing in this new territory, and so it's a little bit of a frontier.
Terrible.
I don't really have a judgment on it. I also know when I'm promoting a film now, I've gotten to know a few of these influencers, and I find them, many of them, grounded, interesting,
really
accomplished.
Would that be Matt Ramos?
And then you have, you know, all the associated jive that's always around.
But you have a vast following online.
Oh my God, how dare you say that?
And fans versus the audience that sees you in the theater versus how do they intersect?
Because look, let me intercept right here. The people that go to watch Robert Downey Jr.'s movies at the cinema, especially when he's playing Tony Stark / Iron Man, who paid for his houses in Italy, in America, in Europe? We did. Obviously, Hollywood did as well, but we did too. We played our part. And again, when you meet your favorite star walking down the street, not at a comic book convention, I don't believe in that, because you're paying money to get a picture taken with them, unless it's Johnny Cage played by Carl Urban and he's charging $5 for a photo, then hey, I'm actually there. But point aside, if you meet your favorite star, celebrity walking down the street, that's the best time to have a chat with them, get a picture taken with them. That's actually more authentic to me, as opposed to what they're saying here as well. You got all these millions of followers, and do you think Robert Downey Jr. or anybody else like him actually cares about them? Maybe to not the nth degree, but they acknowledge they have a fan base, and that's the important thing. You wouldn't be where you are, Mr. Downey Jr. and any other star that shits on influencers, without the help of us. Again, when you look at people like Barry Norman, Siskel and Ebert, people that influenced movie opinion, Pauline Kael, I think that's how you pronounce her name, one of probably my favorite female critic of her time. Rest in peace, by the way, Pauline. Her opinions influenced the Hollywood landscape. So again, when you talk about, well, influencers, they get millions of people for doing nothing. And yes, in some cases, there are makeup influencers. I don't give a shit about them. Influencers that talk about cleaning products. Well, yeah, I like cleaning as well. So that's fair, and that's all fair enough. I completely, if that gets your following, why not? But what he's saying is essentially like actors and actresses train, they go to the best drama schools, or maybe not the best drama schools in America. They work under Meisner or Stanislavski, who's the better of the two acting tutors. And they graft, and then they don't walk into a Hollywood job straight away. They might have to do grafting work, like working in a bar or in a restaurant to pay their way. And they have an agent already signed up. And then when they finally get some attention under the spotlight and it's taken away from them, from people like me or you. Not me, look, I'm a nobody stuck in the closet, as somebody pointed out in one of my recent videos, then that's where the butt starts to hurt. And look, I want to go back to emaciated Downey Jr. right here, because this guy, this is not a good look. Now, it was Friday. I went to my local, well, it was a local place that I'd never been to before called Sizzle and Shake, and they're great. They actually do good, healthy alternative foods like flame grilled chicken. So when I went in there, the lady boss, I recognized them. I said, "Oh yeah, I just saw your husband next door. And when I first saw you two together, I thought you were his daughter. Didn't realize you were his wife." And we had a good laugh about that. But then she said to me, "You've lost a lot of weight. What happened to you?" And so for a woman who I've never really had a conversation with before, and she's a Sikh, by the way, she had a really caring, motherly nature about her. And she gave me a free drink and she said, "Eat this and eat that. I want you to put the weight back on." And I was watching a stream, like an old live stream of Angry Joe eating a leg of chicken or lamb at midnight. And I thought, I'm not going to do that. I mean, goddamn, Joe, what the fuck are you eating, man? And this is at midnight.
Loading while we're doing this. You know how to do it.
I got to admit, that looks pretty damn good as well.
Yes.
But I acknowledge that my physical appearance isn't what it used to be, but I'm doing something about it. I don't like looking like this. I don't like looking Ozempic like RDJ, the man who's got money to do anything he wants to. I mean, RDJ could buy me a house if he wants to. He never will, of course. So that's my point. Just be authentic. If you want to get fat like Angry Joe or whatever, do that. It seems the people who go Ozempic like RDJ here, they seem to have a problem with society and people, and it seems to change their way of thinking, which I absolutely hate. But one thing I don't hate, folks, is you guys out there. You, and especially you, madam, with the big boobies. And on that one, if I were you and if you were me, I will catch you catching me for the return of the next video.
Then I'm sure you'll like RoboCop. If you don't, you may agree with me that for all its high promise and for all the imagination and skill and wit that went into it, it's ultimately a rather distasteful picture which can't possibly do much good except for the bank balances of those who made it.